So today is the final day of the Ajpu Trecena. Okay, it's 13 today. We've come to the point where we've been going through this Ajpu Trecena, the Trecena where we've been trying to find our challenges, trying to find our divinity, trying to find our divine self, and we've ended up on the day of the spiritual path. Okay, so this is what the last 13 days have been about. On Saturday, last Saturday was 7 Kame. This is a really important thing within the Popol Vuh because it was one of the demons of the underworld that was slain by the hero twins in order to bring the light back to the world, was 7 Kame. And 7 Kame represents facing your greatest fear and kind of like cutting its head off, as it were, in order to be initiated on 8 Kech, which was the following day. So we see all of this mythology within the Ajpu Trecena, and here we are, we're at the end of it, we're coming out of it. Now, what are we going to do with it? Well, we're going into the Aj Trecena. Okay, Aj is much more down to earth. Ajpu, when we talk about it, it's the quest for the divine. And this is it's our holy quest. This is a big thing. It's coming to our spiritual path at the end of the Trecena. So it's going to be a big thing. It's not like for the faint-hearted, right? You go on a spiritual quest, what do you expect to find? Your deepest, darkest fears. You're battling your demons through that thing. Yes, it might be in order to get to the light, but do you think it's just going to be an easy stairway to heaven? No, it's kind of like, it's like you're going to go through all of these challenges to make sure you're worthy of carrying it. Okay? So that's where we were going with it. Okay? And now here we are. What are we going to do with it? Because what are you going to do with it? Your enlightenment. You've embraced your spiritual path. You've embraced your divine self. So what? Great. How are you going to do something in this world with that? Because that's what this is about, right? It's about creating harmony within society.
Oh my goodness. Keep going.
Okay.
Oh, so relevant.
So it's interesting when we follow the Trecenas through. One of the things that I've found really interesting is we have this cycle of creation through the calendar, but there's another sub-cycle that runs through the Trecenas. We see Emosh as the cosmic egg. This distills into Ish, which is the spirit of Mother Earth, which then manifests into the physical world through Kech, which is the spirit of nature. We're going out from the earth, we go back up to the sky in Ajpu, and now we're coming back down and grounding it with the cornstalk, grounding it with our spinal columns in Aj. Okay, so this is about having a spine. This is about standing up and doing the right thing, about standing up and being counted and bringing that harmony, bringing all that divinity that you've been working on for the last 13 days, bringing that amazing divine self that you discovered within yourself into your community to make a difference. Because otherwise it's kind of pointless, right? So, this is what the Aj Trecena is about. How can you employ your talents, your skills, your divinity in order to bring harmony to your family, to your home, to your wider community? Okay? Now, Aj is interesting because, it's not always the most out there. Simply because it's more interested in creating harmony than it is about being rich and famous, let's say. It's busy working on what needs to be done. And sometimes, it's kind of like, sometimes when we got to stand up and say or do the right thing, it ain't going to be the popular thing, okay? I like to use this example, forgive me for this, but let's say that you have a family and it's a Friday night, and Friday night is pizza night. And you think, great, and the kids are like, great, it's pizza night and all this kind of thing, but the electricity bill has just come in and, right now there's not so much work or something like that. And you can't afford the pizza because you've got to pay the electric bill. Now, you're going to have to say to the kids, I'm sorry kids, look, beans on toast tonight. No pizza tonight because we've got to pay the electric bill. And the kids, oh, but I want pizza. You know, you've got that kind of thing going on. No, you have to have the strength to make the decision which is going to ensure the harmony of the home. Would you mind turning the music down a bit, please? So, this is what I mean about making tough decisions for the harmony of society, the harmony of your home, the harmony of community. This is what you're using your divinity for, right? You've just gone and faced your deepest, darkest moments. You're really going to be scared because of what people might think when you say that you need to do that because it's the right thing to do. So Aj is giving us the opportunity to grow a spinal column, to grow a backbone, do the right thing even though it might be challenging, so that we can bring that into our community, so that we can act as the elders, as the leaders of our community, and so we can support others around us. Okay? So that's what I see the general kind of like theme of this Trecena being. And of course we're going to begin on 1 Aj. Okay, that's tomorrow. Okay? And 1 Aj is all about potential. It's a seed. It's something that needs encouragement to grow. So this is the possibility of that brave act, the possibility of leadership. This is about more like civic leadership, keeping everything in balance, keeping everything in harmony. And this 1 is all about potential. So it's kind of like when you maybe know what the right thing to do is, but maybe need a little bit of a push. 1 we can see like a seed. We need to put the water, we need to put the fertilizer on it in order for it to grow. That water, that fertilizer is the encouragement of our friends, our family, the people that can see this potential within us and are saying, you know what, you should really do that. You should go and say that. You should go and make that happen because it will be a good thing for society. It will be a good thing for the community if you do. Okay? It's always there. But whether the seed grows or not depends on sometimes whether it receives the correct nourishment. Okay, so tomorrow is about opportunities. Opportunities to sustain your community. Opportunities to bring harmony, to bring peace to community, to family. Okay, looking for maybe even new opportunities in order to do that. Okay, from 1 Aj, we move into 2 Ish. Okay, so Ish, the magician, Ish, the jaguar, Ish, our connection to Mother Earth. Okay, and the number 2, well, the number 2 can represent duality, can represent choices. Now, we're in the Aj Trecena, and so we're seeing kind of like, this is like looking at our choices with respect to the mother. Aj can represent the father figure within the home. Ish can represent the mother figure within the home, represents Mother Earth. This is our choices, but it's also our choices with regards to our own magic, because Ish also represents the magician within us, represents our highest potential as a magical being. Okay, so choose. What do you want to do? 2s can be very black and white. It's like flipping a coin, right? It's heads or tails, left or right. 2s can also be about relationships. So this can be engaging with the magic within your relationship. This is also something of it as well. It can be about making your choices with regards to your commitment to your connection to Mother Earth and your commitment towards your own magic. Okay? And all of those things, when they come into alignment, should come back to this with regards to it's something that helps you to bring harmony to your environment, something that helps you to bring harmony to your home. Now, talking of home, the number 3 can represent exactly that. The number 3 is seen as representing the 3 stars which surround the Great Orion Nebula, which is supposedly where we came from, where our sun came from, where it was born. It's the emergence place. And so the number 3 can represent home. The number 3 can also represent obstructions. But obstructions are kind of like in the outer world. The number 3 talks about going within. It talks about being within the home. So 3 days are great days for staying home. They're great days for inner work, for inner vision. And that's exactly what this is about. Tzikin. Tzikin, the bird. Sometimes seen as being the eagle, sometimes seen as being the quetzal, but it just means bird. The bird flies and gets a vision. The vision that we create. Okay? Now, it's often tied with prosperity. Like, often on Tzikin days, people will burn green candles for prosperity for their businesses and all that kind of thing. But what I really see it as, when we talk about true prosperity, we're not talking about numbers in a bank account. We're talking about something which we can create, which will sustain our family, which will sustain our community, and which will sustain our environment. Otherwise, it's short term. Otherwise, we're not using the vision of the eagle to look in a long distance. We're just looking here. Oh, great, I can rake in some cash now, but not worry about the kids or anything like that. Well, here, we're looking, one Aj, the Aj Trecena, is all about creating a harmony, about standing up straight. It's like here is looking at your inner vision. It's a great day to be asking for your inner vision to be shown to you. It's a great day for the vision for your home, okay? Like, where are you going with it? If you don't have any vision, what's the point in creating harmony for it? It's like it gives you a goal to work towards, okay? So if you were looking at where you want to make home, if you're looking for your own visions and that kind of thing, then 3 Tzikin will be a great day for it. So this is Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Okay? So, from 3 Tzikin, we go to 4 Achmach. And Achmach is all about forgiveness. Okay? Because that's what really makes us human. Okay? It's said that when we were created, we were able to see through space and time. But then the Creator said, hey, we don't want these beings that can see through space and time. We want humans that fall over, that learn, that make mistakes, that get back up again and all of that kind of thing. And so they smoked the mirror of our perception. And through that, we don't always see the consequences of our actions. We start off with a good heart, and it doesn't always work out the way that we expected it to. And if we choose to take that personally, if we choose to carry that, then we end up with a burden. And that burden stops us from moving forward. And the way that we release that burden is through forgiveness. So Achmach days are very strongly about forgiveness. Achmach days are days when we say, look, I'm human, you're human, there but for the grace of God go I. It's okay. And at the end of the day, you know, we all carry our scars. We've all got them. Everybody has had things happen in their lives. We have to live with them. They're part of what make us human. If we were perfect, we'd be like automatons, right? We'd just be following a set program, never making mistakes, never truly embracing what it is to be a human. Okay, so Achmach gives us the ability to be a human and fulfill what we're here for. It gives us the ability to fall over, laugh, get back up again. And to offer that opportunity to everybody around us, to recognize that we're all the same. To embrace those differences, those scars, those things where we fell over or where they fell over as part of their humanity and part of what makes everybody human. So this is something which we have to learn to do. Now, where does it occur? Well, here we have 4 Achmach. Okay, so 4 represents the 4 directions. It represents sunrise, midday, sunset, midnight. It represents the physical plane of existence. Okay, and so we are talking about physical forgiveness. Forgiveness on the material plane. So, like, you know, okay, sometimes we might feel like we've been emotionally wronged, sometimes we might feel like this, that, whatever. This is all about making your correction, as it were, asking for forgiveness for physical stuff that's happened. Ahmach days as well, the other thing to kind of like understand about Ahmach days is Ahmach is here to show us our humanity, okay? If we're walking through a forest as a group, it may be the Ahmach person that trips over a tree root. And what has the Ahmach person done? They've shown everybody else where that tree root is. They've shown everybody else where the danger might lie, or any of those kind of things. And we might laugh and say, ha, look, oh, it had to be that person that tripped over the root. But look at the service to humanity that they've fulfilled through something that they might have grazed their knee when they tripped over that root. They might have taken damage when they tripped over that root. And they've provided a vital piece of information for us. Okay? And so we forgive them. Ahmach is like the court jester, the only one that could tell the truth to the king without being beheaded. Okay? Because they are easy to forgive. That said, we also need to understand that everybody has their place within the calendar, right? And the same within the Tresenas, within the days, there are days for doing stuff and days to maybe chill out a bit, maybe back off a little bit. If you've got mission critical stuff, bear in mind that Ahmach days are the days when everybody is exercising their right to be a human being and occasionally make errors. So if there's something that's really vital on the physical plane, you might choose not to do it on 4 Ahmach. Okay? Forgiveness of the physical, that's a great thing. Anything else, like, just take it easy. Okay? So, we then go into 5 Noach. Okay? So Noach is the mind, it's the brain, it's thought. Okay? It is the ability to line things up in a logical, reasonable and rational order. It's about knowledge, it's about intellect, and it's about understanding. Okay? Noach is a problem solver. It uses the information that it's received from whatever source, the knowledge that it's received, in order to put things into their correct order, in order to solve the problems of community. Okay? And so this is a great day for thinking around things, helping to use your brain to solve problems within your society, within your community. Okay? And of course we're in the Aj Trecena, so of course this is exactly what we should be doing. The number 5 is this. It represents work. It represents the one hand. And so this is working on your solutions. Okay? This might suggest that you already have, like, in order to complete the task of bringing harmony to your home and society, you probably already have the knowledge. You probably already have the intellect to do it. But here, you've got to put the effort in. The definition of work is the application of energy to a system. This is the application of energy to your ideas. Okay, so ideas might float around for a little while. Here is where you start putting your energy into making them come into practice. Okay? From 5 Aj, we're then going into 60 Hash. Okay? So, we're starting to go into the balance point of the pyramid. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay? 6 Tihash. Tihash is the obsidian blade. It is the energy of the healer. It is the energy of the warrior. The obsidian blade cuts away that which is no longer needed, that which is no longer required. Okay? Because, you know, it's like If we look at it as a surgeon, it's cutting away the disease. It's cutting away the element which is causing imbalance within the body. If we look at it as the warrior, well, it's the holy warrior which is cutting away the evil from the world. I like to see it as an editor. You know, it's kind of like it's cutting away the superfluous words or notes or pictures in order to create a beautiful video, in order to create a beautiful piece of music or a beautiful work of art in one way or another. And so this is what Tihash is doing. It's stripping away the excess in order to get to the truth. Here we have it with the number 6. So the number 6, you know, I was saying that the 4 represents the physical plane of existence, well, the 6 adds the vertical axis which connects the heart of the sky and the heart of the earth. So it's drawing on the divine sources in order to create beauty or bring the truth out in the physical plane. Okay, so once again, this is something where, you know, 6 is kind of like drawing on holiness for sure, and it's bringing it into the physical. This is about kind of like being the warrior. You know, I was saying about sometimes you've got to make the tough decisions and that kind of thing. Well, here in 60 hash, this is allowing the divine to guide the decisions that you might make to cut away the superfluous in the physical world in order to bring stability to your healing, in order to bring stability to your community and the healing of others. Okay, so we get to the top of the round. With 7 Kawok. Okay, so Kawok is the midwife energy, it's the storm. The reason why we see Kawok as the storm is because when the rain falls onto like the dry field, the maize then grows. So it's like it's the one that brings the resurrection of the maize, the one that brings the new life into the world. Kawok also, kind of like what you'll see if a large amount of rain comes through here, is that any debris gets washed out of the way. It cleans everywhere up. It's a renewer. Yeah? So Kawok also kind of like represents the birth process. Okay? It is not just kind of like the midwife, but the birth process itself, or the rebirth process itself. And the number 7, we come to the top of the pyramid, but if we look at the calendar, what we see is that each of the days of the calendar begin on a 1 day, and their last apparition is the 7 day. So 7 represents death and endings. So this is kind of like the end of the birth process. Okay, so as we go through the Trecena, this is talking about bringing something new in. It's kind of like, right, okay, if there is something new that you have been bringing in over the last 260 days, that you've been trying to introduce over the last 260 days, this is the time when it's actually kind of like ripe to bring in. Okay, it's like finishing something off, like that's kind of like that's time for it to be done. Okay, we always see kind of like a progression of numbers or progression of appearances. I said that 7 is the last appearance, but we've just come out of the Trecena of Ajpu, and in the Aj Trecena we see Ajpu appearing with the number 8. Okay, 8 Ajpu. So 8 is seen as the ceremonial day. 8 is the day on which we choose to make ceremonies connected to whatever that is. Okay, 8 also represents the wholeness. We can see it as being 1 of birth and 7 of death coming round together. So it's the wholeness of the ceremony. Okay, that's why we choose it. Ajpu is the quest for the divine. So this is wrapping it up, this is giving thanks. This is kind of like, as I said, you've gone through your Ajpu Trecena, and here you're embracing the wholeness of that divinity that you have come into. Okay, so 8 Ajpu is a great day to give thanks for what you have created. It's a great day to give thanks for the holy journey that you've been on. It's a great day to give thanks for your divine self, but it's also a great day to integrate both the light and the dark aspects of your hero's journey in order to activate your spinal column, in order to act that bravery, to bring it in. It's kind of like, you know, when you're going through the light phase, great, you're a radiant being of light. When you're going through the dark phase and you're facing your demons, that's part of what brings you the strength to stand up and support your community, right? So here we recognize that in Aj Ajpu. From Aj Ajpu, we're then going to go to 9 Imosh. Okay? This is a very feminine day. Imosh is a very feminine Nawal. It represents the great ocean of consciousness. It represents the great waters, the oceans, the lake. Lake Atitlan carries the Nawal Imosh. Okay? It represents, if you look at it from a kind of Darwinian point of view, we all crawled out of the same swamp, but it's the ocean that connects us all together. It's the ocean of consciousness, whether we want to see it as a physical wet swamp that like we emerged from, or whether we want to see it as the collective dream that existed before the Big Bang. Okay? It's what ties us all together. It's our psychic network that helps us to feel what each other are feeling. It is nurturing. It is a place of emergence that we all come from. It's very connected to water. Now, there's great things about Imosh and there's challenging things about Imosh. One of the great things about Imosh is that we understand exactly how each other feel. One of the terrible things about Imosh is that we feel exactly how each other feel, okay? It can lead us to being drawn into things which aren't our dream. It can lead us to be drawn into social media. Like, you know, you get into those, maybe people get into arguments on social media about stuff which really wasn't much point in arguing about, but sometimes it just seems like it was like this kind of thing, right? Imosh. It's kind of like, we feel it. If we took away all of our communication abilities and through like our modern technology, Imosh is how we communicate with each other. When we add those communication abilities in, what we end up with is an overload. Imosh days are great days to work out your separation, to work out your disconnection from the collective consciousness, so that you can think your own thoughts and feel your own feelings and dream your own dreams. Okay? Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a great day to go and spend some time by water, for example, and reimagine your dream, reconnect with what you need to connect with, reconnect with your own creativity. But it's a great day to disconnect from that overload. Now here it's with the number 9, which is a very favorable number. It represents the divine feminine and it represents life itself. So life dream, okay? This is what you get when you disconnect. It's like you start dreaming your own life dream, not somebody else's life dream perhaps. So we need to take these times where we're very much in contact with everybody and everything right now. And so as a consequence, it can be a really good idea to take some time, just go and sit by the water, write your journal, do that kind of thing, and rework your life dream. Here we saw you're in a vision, yeah? Here we see the life dream. It may also be something to do with the connectivity with the feminine, okay? With the feminine essence within you. Maybe also maybe you need to kind of like look for some connection with the women in your life as well through that. Okay? From From 9 Imosh, we then go into 10 Ik. You've done all of this introspective work, right? There you're looking at your inner vision. There you were putting your energy, into your thoughts, into your ideas. Here you're doing the editing. Here you're birthing something in. All of these kind of things. And here we come round to 10 Ik. So 10 represents this. It's two hands coming together. It's community. It's society. It's cooperation. And Ik is communication. This is the day to make your announcement. This is the time to get it out to the community. How you're going to bring this harmonious idea in. what you're going to do, how you're going to apply it. This is the day for your great speech about how you want to make the community better or whatever, or however it might work. As I said, Ik as communication and 10 as community or cooperation. This may also be a day for listening as well as speaking. It's a day to have that big town meeting where everybody gets to have their say on what needs to happen in order to bring harmony. Okay, everybody gets to bring in their idea, or a day within your home or your family or whatever it is. This is the day of the announcement. This is the day of that cooperation. Okay, Ik is a strong energy. Sometimes it can be a little bit it has a lot of changes about it. You don't know where it's going to blow from one day to another, and this can make it unpredictable, and its words can be soft, gentle and inspiring and bring you right up, or it can blow like a hurricane and bring you right down. Okay, so the way to see it, the way to understand it, is that the words carry more weight on Ik days than they do on other days, and Ik people, their words carry more weight than other people. Okay, so when an Ik person tells you something inspiring, you feel super inspired. When an Ik person tells you something nasty, you feel super down. And it's something that Ik people have to kind of like work out early on in their life, that it's not an easy nawal to carry. But also be aware that on Ik days, the communication that you have carries more emphasis, carries more power. Okay, so be aware of what you're getting out to your community before you kind of like put your energy into it. From 10 Ik, we go to 11 Aqbal. Okay, so Aqbal is, well, they call it the dawn and the dusk, but it's actually the moment before dawn and the moment after dusk. It's when the sky is light but there's no sun in the sky. Okay, so right now, let's say between 5 and 6 a.m. here in Guatemala, this is Aqbal. It's the time when that sky has that beautiful red-orange color. That's Aqbal. This is also the time when you first wake up, before you've opened your eyes, before you've taken a sip of water, when your dreams are still present in your head, before your dreams start to fade. This is also Aqbal. It's about bringing new concepts into the world. Okay, and it's also conception in itself. Like when a woman is walking around pregnant, and we can see that there is a child growing within her, but we can't actually, that child doesn't have a physical presence. We can't see it or smell it or touch it, but we can see it has a presence. So this is Aqbal. It's somewhere in between. It's about concepts. It's about new concepts. And maybe after this village communication, we then go into this thing of 11 Aqbal, which is the bringing in of new concepts, and the 11 being from many different areas. Okay, it's like sometimes we don't always follow a straight line. Sometimes we follow kind of like that kind of pattern, because we need to get a little bit of that and 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 a little bit of that, and then when we put it all together, we find, oh, actually it does make a pattern. Actually, there is something that we can bring in. And so 11 Aqbal would suggest looking around in many different areas in order to bring your new concept in. It might not come from a normal area. It's also saying, like, 11 brings this strong driving urge to follow something, right? It's kind of like, you don't know why, you don't know where it's going, but you know you need to go there. And it's not until sometimes days, sometimes weeks, sometimes years after you've been to that place that you figure out, I was there to learn that. I thought I was there to see that, but it turned out I was there to learn that. Okay, and so you're taking those concepts and bringing them together, okay, to create a new concept. From 11 Aqbal, we then go into 12 Cat. Oh, getting a bit far away now, aren't they? Right, so 12 Cat. Cat, the net. The net is what we gather all of our resources with. If you go to a market here, you'll see oranges, avocados, everything's carried in nets, right? So it's what you gather your physical abundance, what you gather your resources with. When you gather too many resources, you can't move. You know, it's like when you leave home and you've got that 14 kilos in your backpack and everything feels really good. And then after a while you come to Guatemala and you're like, hey, I want that blanket and that pottery, and suddenly you've got 22 kilos and you can't move forward. This is Cat, okay? What Cat tells us and what it helps us with, Cat is a Nawal of merchants, and what merchants do is pick through everything in order to select the good stuff. Okay, there may be stuff that you need to release, because Cat, as well as representing physical abundance, can also represent the burden. So it's about cutting ourselves free of the burdens that we carry. Now, where do those burdens come from? Well, the number 12 represents all of life's experience. As we go through life, we pick stuff up. That stuff usually helps us. Usually we're given like tools, artifacts on our way that help us to walk along our path. We say, oh, this is great, I really love that Swiss Army knife, or whatever it is. I remember when I got that, I was in this place and somebody said all of those kind of like things. But after a while, we realised that hasn't actually been out of our bag for 3 months. We don't use it anymore. It is not necessary to our journey. We still might have an emotional attachment to it, but really it's turned into a burden. Doesn't mean that it wasn't once useful, doesn't mean it's like any disrespect to it, but sometimes we just need to let ourselves go from it. Here, we're talking about life experiences. Here, we're talking about creation of harmony, we're talking about bravery, we're talking about doing the right thing. Okay, so what can this tell us here? Well, as we've gone through life, we've been through a bunch of experiences. These experiences may have helped us to become that. But there's some experiences that we're going to have to sort of let go of, because they stop being a benefit and start being a burden. So 12 Cat is a great day to be sorting through maybe your mental net, maybe your emotional net, and saying, do I really still need to carry that experience? How does that experience serve me? Does it may work as a foundation for who I am, but is it now beginning to hold me back? So it's a great day for releasing burdens on that day. Okay, and finally, now I know this one because it's a very special day, because this is going to be October 31st, the day 13 Can. Is the day that we finish this Trecena. Can is the serpent. Can be seen as the sorcerer. Can be seen as all sorts of things. And really what it represents is the energy that flows through our veins, the creative essence. It's often seen as being kind of like sitting over the tanden point, sitting over the creative center of the body, also the center of sexual energy. Okay, and so it can be seductive and it can be creative, and really what it comes down to is training as to the way that we use it. Can create illusions, and it can also help us to see through illusions. Can brings wisdom. Can is our teacher. Okay, so what we have there is wisdom and power. As a teacher, we empower others by sharing our wisdom, yeah? Or we disempower others by not sharing our wisdom. It's what Can days are about. So it's a great day for teaching, it's a great day for learning, it's a great day for sharing your wisdom in order to empower others, which will surely bring harmony to the community. But what wisdom are you sharing? Well, 13 is the number which represents the spirit world, it represents the ancestors. This is a great day for tapping into ancestral wisdom on October 31st, I might add. Yeah, just because. So 13 Can is a day to use the wisdom of the ancestors to see through the illusions of the world. Because when we see through the illusions to the truth, then we can bring true harmony, right? When we learn about the wisdom of our ancestors, we can use that to bring harmony to our community. when we follow our path as this kind of leader, we can end up here as somebody who is really leading with the wisdom of the ancestors, who's really tapped into that energy. So again, it's a great day for messages, it's a great day for going and finding out that kind of thing. Commune with your ancestors. Revisit what grandpa, grandma told you, what wisdom that they had to share for you. Okay? Because this is exactly what that's all about, and maybe it's that you need in order to strengthen yourself and bring that harmony in. Okay? So that's our journey through the Aj Trecena. I hope that you've enjoyed it.
Yes.
Okay?